What's good, YouTube? It's Justice. I used to be Pay, and today I'm back with another video. And I know you guys have been waiting on this video for a long time. This is the biggest rap album to drop this year, and that is the Pink Tape. And you guys have been wanting to see what I would say about the Pink Tape. You wanted to know what my review would be, and this is it here today. So real quick before I get into the review, make sure you leave a subscribe. It's just a rule here. If you watch my content, you got to subscribe. It helps me out a ton. It doesn't cost you any extra money or any extra effort, and I'm trying to pay off this college tuition. So just leave a subscribe. It helps me out. But we're just going to get straight into it. The very first thing I want to say about the Pink Tape is that I have enjoyed listening to the album over the past week and a half, however long it's been now that I'm recording this video. It's been a very fun listen. It's been an exciting listen, and it's just something that I've enjoyed. So if you're expecting me to come in here and crap on the album and say it's trash, don't expect that from me, because I have thoroughly enjoyed listening to it over the last week and a half, however long it's been. And it's just a really entertaining album, and I'm going to break it down even further. But really quickly, I just want to give a disclaimer. This is my opinion, because I know opinions on the internet sometimes make people very upset. This is just my opinion. I'm just some guy who likes listening to rap, and this is what I thought of the album. I tried to break it down so it makes sense to you, but if it doesn't, it's cool. But just know that this is my true opinion. These aren't anything that I've heard online. I'm not trying to sound like everyone else and be like, oh, well, somebody said this, so I have to say, no, this is just my opinion. This is just what I think. If you agree with what I think, that's cool. If you disagree, that's cool too. But I'm going to try to give you some reasonings on the things that I believe about this album. I'm not just going to get on here and just say, oh, this song is bad, this song's bad. Well, I might say that, but I'm not just going to get up here and be like, yeah, the album's bad, and then just end the video. So this is my opinion. Don't get butthurt. You don't have to agree with me. Music is subjective. You have your own opinion. I have mine. This is just what I thought of the project. But before I get into that, I'm going to go over some of the things that I got right and some of the things that I got wrong in terms of predictions for this project, and maybe a little bit on why or whatever, just a little explanation. So first up, Cardi was not on the album. I didn't expect him to be. I know Uzi, Cardi, great duo, but I just knew he was not going to be on the project. At the Gates wasn't on the project, the song with Drake, which was kind of surprising because I thought Uzi would be trying to go all in with this project and go for 300K first week or something like that. But a little disappointing that the song wasn't on there, especially because they just recently teased it not that long ago. So yeah, I was kind of upset that the song wasn't there. That was one of my predictions that I got wrong. Ken Carson also was not on the project, another prediction that I got wrong. Ken Carson was in the studio with Uzi a lot during this project. He also produced or helped produce one of the songs on here, so I thought for sure Ken Carson was going to be on the project. He'd been around Uzi for a while. He was even at the release party, and Uzi was doing an interview with him or something like that, so I really expected him to be here. I was a little shocked that he wasn't, and I mean, I'm not super mad. A thing that I kind of got right was that the project was going to be kind of experimental, but not the whole project. It was probably a quarter of the songs were really, really experimental stuff that really strayed away from what you typically hear from Uzi. But for the most part, it wasn't anything too crazy. As an entire album, I wouldn't say the album itself was extremely experimental, but there were maybe 5 to 8 songs that were pretty different from what you'd expect from Uzi. But the album was 26 songs, so that's not the entire album is left, as if it was a 18 song or even a 20 song album. A prediction I got right was that there would be no more than 5 features. It was actually 5 exactly, I believe. And Uzi's just not a huge feature artist on their projects. Uzi doesn't slap on 8 features minimum every project. Just not that type of artist. So, I mean, that wasn't really that hot of a take, but just something I wanted to say I got right because I want to feel smart. I also said that there would be a lot of rock on this album. I thought that there would be a couple rock songs, and I was kind of right. It was more metal, but metal is a subgenre of rock, so I feel that's technically right. And there were 2 rock/metal features. The first one being Bring the Horizon, the other one being Baby Metal, which was a Japanese metal band, I believe. So yeah, I was right about the whole there would be some sort of rock feature on the project and rock songs. And so, I mean, I don't think that was too hard to predict, but just wanted to say I was right again to feel smart. And now my worst prediction was that I said the project would sell 230, and the project ended up selling 165K first week. Now, I was off by a wide margin, but I mostly blame TikTok because of this. I initially going into this project said it would sell 180, weeks and months before it actually was even really close to coming out. But people were like, nah, Uzi's way bigger. Uzi sold 288K with Eternal Take, which is true. And they're like, nah, Uzi's as big as Future, and his project's going to sell like Futures and Babies and go over 200. And I kind of let them gas me up. all the way to 230. I hoped it sold over 200K, but I felt like 180 was really the right place for me to put the prediction, even though that ended up being wrong as well, but just not as wrong as 230. So yeah, and I think in general the sales are a little disappointing. 165 is a little low for Uzi. I think anything 180 and above would have been like a W in my book. 165 is kind of low, but not anything to be like, oh my god, Uzi flopped, Uzi's career. Like it's not that big of a deal. I just think the sales are kind of low and maybe a little underwhelming. Now to get into my official album review. Okay, so this is kind of weird, but I'm a little bit of a weird guy in terms of like the way I review albums. I like things to be very set, and like I like to have some sort of standard or structure to go by, because again, music is subjective, so there's no real way to correctly rate albums. There's no way to properly function and sort your rating. Like there's no real way to do it. You either like it or you don't, and you can just say, oh, I thought it was a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a 6. Like you can just kind of do your own thing when it comes to album reviews. But I made up my own structure one day when I was in the shower, and I kind of want to share it with you guys. You guys don't have to use it, but this is just how I go about rating albums when I really, really want to get kind of into detail. Like when I really want to go the extra mile about rating an album, this is the way I do it. Normally I'll just say 8 out of 10, 10, you know, whatever. But when I really want to go a little bit further, this is how I do it. So this is my album rating system. I'll show it to you guys right now. Basically, to start off with, you take the number of songs on the album and you multiply that number by 10, because there's a number of points you can get per song, 0 being the lowest, 10 being the most. And so you multiply the number of songs by 10. So let's say there's a 10 song album, you multiply 10 by 10, and that gets you 100 points. And that's the total possible number of points you could give for that album. That's like the baseline, like perfect album rating would be 100 if you had 10 songs. And so this is how I do my ratings of the songs. I rate them by category. I put them into 5 separate categories, that being great songs, good songs, meh songs, bad songs, and awful songs. Great songs are worth 10 points. So for each great song, you get 10 points. So you would get 10 out of the 10 points possible. For a good song, you would get 8 points, or 8 out of the 10 points possible. For a meh song, you would get 5 points, or 5 out of the 10 points possible. And then for a bad song, you get 3 points, or 3 out of the 10 points possible. And then for awful songs, you get 3 points taken away, so you get -3 out of the 10 points possible. So once you've tallied up all the points from each song, you will take the total number of points and add them all together. Then you will divide the total number of points possible. Then you will divide the total number by the total number of points possible for the album. There's also a 1 out of 10 grade for overall production, lyricism, continuity, and message that will be added to the score to be average, like the example above. So if the album's total number of possible points is 100, and let's say the total score you get from organizing the songs is 80, you would divide 80 by 100, giving you 8 or 0.8. Then you would multiply that by 100 to go to 80%. Obviously, you don't need to do the actual percentage math if it's out of 100, but just in general to give you an example. So albums on my criteria that score from 96 to 100% are generational albums. Albums that score 95 to 85 are great albums. Albums that score 84 to 75 are good albums. Albums that score 74 to 60 are decent albums. And then albums that score 59% or lower are bad albums. So that's my criteria. That's how I go about rating albums when I really, really want to get deep into it. But yeah, that's just how I do it for when I'm really trying to thoroughly rate an album, at least in my opinion. Again, maybe it doesn't work for you, but this is kind of what works for me. So I'm just going to go through every song and tell you how I rated it. And I might give a little explanation per each song. Maybe not for all 26 songs, because come on now, that's kind of a lot, but just giving you a rating for what I thought for each song. And then, at the end, I'll tally up the points and whatever. So to start off with, Flooded the Face, I gave that a great rating. I love that song. It was a good intro to the track, and it kind of sets the tone for the entire album. Suicide Doors was kind of okay. I was stuck between good and meh, but I eventually landed on meh. It could grow on me, but it's not bad. I just don't really like it that much. I don't know. I think it's a little long. Then the next song is A, featuring Travis Scott, and I thought that song was meh. The production was great, but the performances were kind of boring, especially Travis Scott. His feature was not very good. Hit or Make Her Do the Gritty, again, might be the worst line of the year, at least in my opinion. Crush 'Em, I gave a good rating. Amped, I gave a meh rating. Times 2 was great. It probably has the best production on the album. It's one of my favorite songs. The beat is just absolutely fantastic. The song is great overall, and I've played it a billion times since it came out. Died and Came Back was another great rating. Spin Again was another great rating. That's 3 in a row. And I think Spin Again was probably the best song on the album, at least in my opinion. And you know what? As weird and corny as I thought the growl was to start the album, the growl actually works on this song. Like, it's actually kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie. To Keep Going, That Fire was meh. I didn't really like the song. It was cool. I Gotta was another great song. It kind of had like a Chief Keef type beat on there and type of flow. So I thought that was a great project, and it was a good kind of homage to Chief Keef. Endless Fashion, I was stuck on this song. A lot of people feel kind of conflicted. Some people think it's really corny and they don't like it. And it is kind of corny, but it has the I'm Blue rhythm, kind of the I'm Blue. It has that type of rhythm and chorus. But I was stuck between good and great for this song because I do actually really like this song. I ended up finally giving it a good instead of a great. I don't think it matches up to the other great songs on this project, but it's a solid song. It's kind of fun. It's kind of corny. It's not super serious. And Nicki dissing Natalie Nunn and her like just running off into the moon with it is really funny. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid song. And, you know, I liked it, but I don't think it was good enough for me to put it in great, at least in my opinion. Mama, I'm Sorry got a good rating. All Alone was meh. Nakamura got a good rating, and I'm a WWE fan, and apparently so is Uzi, so I was automatically going to like the song regardless, especially because Nakamura has a great theme song. If you've never heard it, go listen to it, especially go listen to the live version when the guy was actually playing the violin. Just absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I like the song a lot. I was going to like it regardless. Just Wanna Rock, I gave it a great rating. It's already its own song, but I felt like it still deserved a great rating. I really like the song, and, you know, I'm never going to get mad at somebody playing Just Wanna Rock. Like, I just like the song. Fire Alarm was really controversial. There was a lot going on there, but I kind of gave it a meh. It wasn't my favorite song on the project. You know, it doesn't really work for me. It's just not my type of song. Now, to get into my really controversial take, the song CS, which is kind of like Uzi's cover of the song Chop Suey. Now, I'm not super familiar with the original song. I've maybe heard it once or twice in my life, so I didn't really have that experience of that song and being like, oh my God, I like this song so much, and I already resonate with this song, so I don't really have that. So I gave this a great rating. I know it's going to sound bad. Metal fans are going to be mad at me. Rap fans are going to be mad at me. I really like the song. I really don't care. I think Uzi sounds great, and I know the people are like, oh, you know, the auto-tune, it makes it sound... I don't care. I think the song sounds great in my opinion. So yeah, that's probably my most controversial take. And I didn't really know the OG song, so maybe me not having the experience and the knowledge of that song makes me more willing to like this song because it still feels kind of new to me. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is just a song that's already been made. It just felt kind of new to me. So I like the song. And Chop Suey is a good song, but I do like this song. The next song is Werewolf, which honestly probably has the best chorus on the album. And in my opinion, this is the best feature on the album. Bring Me the Horizon. I've never heard a song from them in my life. I don't listen to metal music. But man, they absolutely bodied this song. That hook, oh my gosh, it literally had me feeling like I was a werewolf. I thought I was a werewolf for real. I thought I was in the underground movies. I forgot what those movies were called. But man, I was really like, that song that's one of the best songs on this album, for real. It's definitely in my top 3. Werewolf is probably the best metal / experiment song that Uzi's ever made. And I'm not going to lie, Uzi kind of got carried in my opinion. But the song is absolutely fire. And if you don't like metal music, maybe you can listen to this song and really give it a try because, man, I absolutely love this song. Like, this is one of my favorites for sure. Pluto to Mars was a pretty good song. Patience was a great song. I loved it a lot. Uzi and what's his name? Don Toliver put together a very solid love song, little jingle, little love song thing. I thought it was very good. I thought it was great. Days Come and Go was another great song. Again, this run from Uzi right here is just all fantastic. The end of the album was way better than the first half in my opinion, but it was just all fantastic. Pretty much no misses after Just Wanna Rock. Rehab, I gave a great rating. Another song that kind of reminded me of a Chief Keef type flow. Again, just another great song. And then The End, another controversial song in my opinion. I actually like this song, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but I do. And there's a lot going on in the song. There's a lot of metal stuff, and then there's kind of cutesy anime style sounding stuff on there, and I like it. It reminds me of an anime outro. I grew up listening to anime, so that's probably why I favor this song more than most people who really don't partake in those type of activities, I guess, don't really put themselves in the anime space. And it just reminds me of an anime outro song, and I like it a lot. It's cool, and it's a nice ending to the album, and I wish it was the real ending of the album. Like, it is the ending of the Pink Tape, but there's obviously the bonus songs after that, but I really feel like that is the perfect ending for this album. Like, the end is a perfect ending for this album because it's kind of all over the place. It's here, it's there, it's making different sounds, it's sounding really strange at certain points. There's really weird, there's just a whole mash of kind of like monstrosity put together, but it kind of works. And I think that's kind of the theme of the Pink Tape, a little bit of a monstrosity being put together, but they all kind of go together despite not really going together, if that makes any sense. So I think the end was actually a perfect ending to the Pink Tape. I wish it was the very last thing you heard, but obviously, there's bonus songs. And for the bonus songs, we've already heard these songs, so I feel like I shouldn't have to go into too much detail. I thought the song Zoom was great. I thought the song, of course, was good, and I gave the song Sade great. Again, the bonus songs were really good. They kind of were not really fitting into the Pink Tape and the whole theme, but they were great songs, and I'm glad that Uzi put them on the project regardless. Okay, and then to go into the 4 extracurriculars of this album, I gave the production a 9. I thought this album was very well produced. I thought the beats were crazy. I thought it all really sounded good. I don't think there was too many times where I was like, man, these beats are kind of rough. Even the stuff that was kind of out there, like Fire Alarm, I thought it sounded pretty good in terms of production-wise. So I think overall this was a very well-produced album. Lyricism, I gave it a 6. Uzi's not a super lyrical artist. That's not what I expected from this project, and you probably really shouldn't expect that from Uzi. Now, not to say Uzi can't rap, but this project specifically just wasn't too focused on the lyrics. They were okay, average lyrics, but that's not really what we were here to focus on. For continuity, this is kind of a weird rating. I don't really know. No, I do know. It's kind of weird because none of this album really fits together, but at the same time, it kind of does. I gave continuity an 8 on this album just because all these pieces of this album are really different and they all are kind of abstract, but they all fit together under this one umbrella that is the Pink Tape. If that makes any sense. Everything on this project felt like the Pink Tape, but they were all so different at the same time. It was a way to make everything extremely different, but all somehow fit under the same umbrella, and I thought it worked pretty well. Now, in terms of structure of this album and going from this to this, it didn't really have any real structure, but I think for the Pink Tape, it kind of works. So I gave the continuity an 8. And for message, I gave it a 7. There's no real message oh my God, don't do drugs, kids, or, I don't know. There's no real message, but I felt like this was just Uzi kind of being themselves. I felt like this was Uzi being Uzi in the most way that Uzi possibly could, if that makes any sense. This was an Uzi album. Uzi's made albums before, but this was an Uzi album, and it felt like Uzi was just kind of being themselves. So I think I gave it a 7 just because it felt like a true expression of Lil Uzi Vert and who that is as an artist, but also as a person, because it goes into his personal likes, not just his music likes, the trap music, the rapping stuff, but it also goes into anime stuff and WWE stuff and the metal stuff. It just goes into a whole bunch of different aspects of Lil Uzi's actual personal life, real Lil Uzi stuff. So I gave it a 7 for just being what I felt like a great album for personal expression. And overall, if you add up all the points, tally it up, don't worry, you don't have to do it. It ended up being out of 300 points because of the 26 songs, 26 times 10, and then the 4 extra categories on the end, which adds another 40 points. So 300 points total. And my final score for the Pink Tape, once I added it all up, was 246. And if you divide 246 by 300, you get 0.82. Multiply that by 100. 82%. So I gave the Pink Tape an 82% rating, which is a good album. It's towards the high end of good album. I think this album was really good, which obviously was reflected in my rating. I don't think it was a great album. I don't know if it was a great album. Maybe it'll grow on me. It's still only 2 weeks out from the album, so maybe down the line some songs will get turned from meh to good and some from good to great. But overall, I thought this was a very solid project. It wasn't anything super remarkable. It wasn't the best project that I've heard in a long time, but it might be the best rap album of the year so far, rap album. But yeah, I just thought it was a very good project. There were some points where I felt some songs were a little boring or some songs didn't come out the way that they could have. But overall, a very good project and something to be proud of. And just to give my final thoughts in a summary, I think that this album was 110% made to be performed. All of these songs have very high performance potential, all of this from the start to the end, all of these songs felt like they were made to be performed, except for like maybe a few of the slower songs at the end. But for the most part, all of this could be performed. A song like Fire Alarm, even without like it being that great, in my opinion, I could imagine this song being super fun when it comes on in a concert. Or a song like Two Times, or I could just keep going down the list. A song like the intro song, Flooded the Face, a song like Suicide Door, a song like Crush 'Em. Like there's just so many. Spin Again. There's so many songs on here that could be performed and could be really fun. CS, another one. Werewolf, of course. Like there's just a lot of The End even. I feel like this project was really made to be performed, and kind of in the similar light to Whole Lotta Red. I don't mean to really compare it to that album, but just in the way that Whole Lotta Red was definitely made to be performed, it felt like this album was made to be performed. And I thought the production was really good on this album again, and I really felt like the second half of this album was a lot better than the first half. Not to say that the first half was trash or bad or anything like that, but once you kind of hit that Just Wanna Rock point, I really don't think Uzi misses from that point on. Maybe Fire Alarm, but after Just Wanna Rock, it's just banger after banger after banger after banger. So I think this project is a lot better towards the end than the beginning, but still a very good project overall. And I feel like, you know, I have a weird comparison for this project because this project doesn't really have any structure, right? There's no like, okay, we're doing this, then we slowly transition to that, then we like, no, this is kind of all over the place. There's rage stuff, there's regular trap stuff, there's metal stuff, there's dancing stuff, there's sad stuff. Like it's kind of all over the place, and there's no real structure, but it all kind of works together. And the way I would compare the Pink Tape to something else in real life is I would compare the Pink Tape to like a rainbow tie-dye shirt, in the sense of like, you pour a whole bunch of colors, you tie-dye, and the colors are all over the shirt. They're blotchy. They're in other places. There's no real structure. There's no real formula to the tie-dye shirt. But at the end of the day, the rainbow tie-dye shirt still works, and it still looks like something that's kind of a cohesive unit, just because it all works together in a weird, strange way. There's no structure. There's no red starts here, yellow starts here, blue starts. No, it's red, yellow, green, blue, all over the place, and they're all in weird shapes, all on their own. But it works. It fits together in the end as a rainbow tie-dye shirt. It all comes together as one at the end that makes a very solid project, and that's kind of what I feel like the Pink Tape is. It's a rainbow tie-dye shirt. It's all over the place. There's no structure, but it all works and still fits kind of cohesively, despite the fact that there's a million different pieces that don't have a real shape, that don't really, you know, fit in a rigid way, like a chessboard or like a puzzle. It doesn't fit rigidly, but it all just kind of oblongly fits its way together and makes a cohesive piece, kind of like if somebody like splattered paint all across a white canvas. It just kind of works, in my opinion, and I think that's really cool. And I also think that this is the most Uzi project that's ever been dropped. This may not be Uzi's best project, and you know, Love is Rage 2 might be better than it. Eternal Take might be better than it. Maybe Eternal Take, maybe, I think is a little closer. Love is Rage 2, I think, is probably better. But I would say this project is the most representative of him as a person, or of Uzi as a person or an artist. I think this project, when you really want to represent what Lil Uzi is, you would look to the Pink Tape. I think this project represents him the best. If somebody said, hey, describe me Lil Uzi in one project, I wouldn't show them Eternal Take. I wouldn't show them Love is Rage. I wouldn't show them Love vs. the World. I would show them the Pink Tape, because it displays a whole bunch of different aspects of Uzi and who they are as a person, all over the place. It goes into kind of like the rap artist stuff, the regular basic trap artist stuff, the gangster stuff, the rock star stuff, the rap love songs, the rock metal stuff, the WWE stuff, the anime stuff, the metal stuff, the J metal stuff. Like, it just goes all over the place and goes into so many different areas, and I think it really represents Uzi well as an artist and as a person. This album is Uzi put into an album. You know, other albums, they were good Uzi projects, but I feel like this one best represents him, or represents Uzi as a person and their interests and what they like and all that type of stuff. So I think it's a really cool project. I thought it was a very good album, and I probably would have gave it an 8 out of 10 if I did like a basic boring review. So that 82% that I gave it definitely makes sense, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this project was trash. Maybe it was the best project ever. Maybe, I don't know, whatever you think, let me know down below in the comments. I just hope you listened to my review and heard me out and thought I made some sense. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Don't get butthurt. Don't get mad. Don't leave me a comment telling me you're going to come find me. It's really not that deep. It's just my opinion. But if you made it this far, please leave a like, leave a subscribe. You clearly enjoyed the video if you made it this far, because this video is going to be long. But I'd greatly appreciate if you did those things, and I greatly appreciate you making it this far regardless. So thank you. Thank you so much. And Uzi, this was a very successful drop in terms of my opinion. I thought it was a really good album. But that's going to be the end. So you have a good day. Have a blessed day. Be safe. Peace.